Hey everybody.
Hello.
This should be our final video of our look at the Dragon Quest series as a whole. So we left off at Dragon Quest X, which probably has a subtitle, but we don't know what it is.
We don't know anything about it. It's a big question mark.
Because Dragon Quest X is the only Dragon Quest game that never came to the West.
Right.
It's an MMO.
It is.
Because MMOs are popular.
It was a Wii exclusive MMO when it first came out. A Wii. Just let that sink in. A Wii exclusive MMO. Just think about it for just a second.
I don't want to.
Okay.
I don't play a lot of MMOs anymore. I played a lot in college, but now I just can't seem to get into them again. I would give a Dragon Quest MMO a try just because I'm so familiar with the mechanics and the look and the feel of the thing. But we will probably never get a chance to play Dragon Quest X.
I think it is, it's well beyond the time that it would be interesting.
Although it's still being played. I mean,
definitely.
It's been ported to the PS4, Androids, Switches.
I mean, Phantasy Star Online 2 just came out.
Jesus.
For the PS5. I mean, you never know what's going to happen, but as of right now, I have no idea about anything about Dragon Quest X. And I've never played an MMO. I dabbled in Final Fantasy XIV for a minute, and then I thought, I don't want to pay $10 a month when I cannot devote all of my time to this.
I played The Realm, which is arguably the first MMO.
Okay.
I've played some EverQuest, some World of Warcraft, some City of Heroes. Loved City of Heroes. I've dabbled in a lot of them.
I just don't... I'm not a social gamer unless it's like sitting on a couch next to somebody.
I largely played them as single-player games.
Okay.
So anyway, we can't really talk about Dragon Quest X, so on to Dragon Quest XI.
We can talk about the best one, though.
Dragon Quest XI, Echoes of an Elusive Age.
It is the best Dragon Quest.
So we've already done, and I know you've heard it, I don't care about the weird order we record things, we have already released an in-depth review of Dragon Quest XI when we initially played it.
Yes.
So go listen to that for the in-depth version. That's why this is going to be quicker. It is the pinnacle of Dragon Quest. They've taken all their lessons.
Exactly. It's not like Final Fantasy where they've reinvented the wheel. They've just taken
their
refinement over all these years, and they have made, so far, the perfect Dragon Quest game.
When we originally reviewed it, I had not played the post-game content. I have now.
Right.
And Russ was right. It is not really what is traditionally known as post-game content. Right. It is the third act.
It's a continuation of the same story.
So just because you think you beat the game, you haven't. There is literally a whole third act, which I have some issues with because I feel I feel like it undermines some character development because there's there's a time travel element to it, and it's interesting for that.
All the best character development is from Act 2, which technically gets rewritten.
Yeah.
In Act 3.
They did recently do a remake of Dragon Quest XI for the Switch, which I have a big issue with. I have an issue with doing a remake of a game in the same console generation. They're doing the same thing with Persona 5.
I was going to say, Persona 5. Weirdly, I am totally okay with the Dragon Quest XI thing. I'm slowly playing through it on the Switch again. I hate the idea of a Persona 5 remake.
They just released these games.
And I don't know...
I played through them.
I don't even have a rational explanation why.
It's the same console generation. I just played this.
Jeff has just had an aneurysm. So he just had a brain aneurysm. I have a hard
time imagining somebody who would buy, say, Persona 5 Royal that did not buy Persona 5 when it came out.
Yeah.
Like, you're telling me within that year or two span, a whole new fan base came up that never touched the original? This one's a little bit different because it's for the Switch, which didn't get a version of the original. I'm still not happy about it.
That's what I was going to add, that I actually do have an explanation for it, and it's the fact that this is on the Switch.
Yeah. Die-hard Switch fans who don't have a PS4, like, that makes sense. I could see that there are people who buy 11S that didn't play 11. That I accept. Yeah. I have a hard time accepting there are people who will play 5 the Royal that did not just play 5. And that feels like a ripoff.
I would play 5 the Royal if they put it on the Switch. Just because I'm having such a love affair with my Switch, the convenience of playing on the TV and immediately going to handheld is the best thing in the world. You can also, Dragon Quest XI S, you can also play the entire game as like a Super NES game. They added all of that. They added a whole bunch of stuff.
I'm sure.
That was not in the PS4. And just the fact that you could play it on the Switch. So, yeah.
So, there's our real quick look at 11. 11's great.
Best game, wonderful game. Jade, best character. Jade. Jade is wonderful.
So
that's all I want to say. Jade is great.
You've said it.
Jade.
I heard you.
Jade.
We've all heard you.
Thank you.
So you can go back and see the more in-depth talk about it in that video. So we're going to go ahead and talk about some of the spin-offs.
Yeah.
Now there are
some good spin-offs.
There are 2 spin-off series that I want to talk about, and then we'll see if Russ has done any of the other ones. It'll be a mystery here for the end.
Yeah.
It'll be very exciting.
Fun mystery.
First, we'll talk about Dragon Quest Heroes, which is their Dynasty Warrior style game.
Right.
Kind of like Hyrule Hyrule Heroes.
What was the name of that game?
Oh my god. The Legend of Zelda Hyrule Heroes or something like that.
I can't remember the name of it. Fire Emblem Warriors.
Fire Emblem Warriors.
Yeah.
Basically, they pull in characters from different Dragon Quests, and because they used the goddess bird Imperia, which I told you was going to come back, right. They basically say, look, all of Dragon Quest exists on different worlds. This bird can travel to worlds, so she draws heroes together to fight a great evil. Dragon Quest Heroes 1 is great.
Yes.
It's a lot of fun. I love the characters that come up. It was able to breathe a lot more life into some of these older characters.
Right.
Nira and Bianca show up, and you find out that they're there the night before the wedding.
Right.
The hero is literally at home deciding which one he's going to marry, and the 2 of them show up and are best friends.
Yes. They're having a whole adventure without him. I had hoped that they would just fall in love and dump him.
They're both very chill about it, too. They're just like, yeah, he's deciding which one of us he's going to marry. Anyway, let's fight for justice.
I just met my sister wife, and I'm having a great time.
And Princess Elena is so fun.
She is fun.
Her spunky Russian princess, yeah. It's real good.
Very fun game.
The weirdest part, though, is there is no representation from Dragon Quest VII in Dragon Quest Heroes 1.
Right.
None of the characters from 7. And it stops at 8. There's none from 9 either, which there couldn't be, because you create your own in 9.
Yes, exactly.
Love Dragon Quest Heroes 1. If you like Dynasty Warrior games, and if you like Dragon Quest, really check it out. It's a lot of fun. Dragon Quest Heroes 2, I wasn't as impressed with. It was still okay.
I didn't play the second one. I only played the first one.
It didn't seem for me to capture the same magic as the original one. The brides do not come back. So they do mix up the characters a bit.
Yeah.
There are now no characters from 5, I think, but they do bring in 2 from 7.
Okay.
So they mix the characters up a little bit, although I think Jessica's still around, because of course.
Well, of course. Why would Jessica?
But I believe they bring in Yengus for the second, and he wasn't in the first.
Okay.
Anyway, the second one's okay. It didn't have the same feel for me. In both of them, the 2 are completely unrelated games. Like, the story does not carry over.
Okay.
And in both of them, you have a choice between playing a male character or a female character, brother and sister. And whichever one you don't pick is a supporting role in your party. And the characters that you pick are not from any previous Dragon Quest.
Yeah.
In both of them, there's a handful, maybe 3 or 4 characters unique to just that Heroes game that aren't from other Dragon Quests. And why would you use them when the Dragon Quest characters are there?
Exactly.
So that's Dragon Quest Heroes.
To give you a little bit of variety.
Dragon Quest Builders
is so good.
Dragon Quest Builders it's most easily explained as, and has a reputation of, being Minecraft but with Dragon Quest.
It's Minecraft but good.
I've played Minecraft. Minecraft is fine.
Minecraft is...
There are amazing things you can do in Minecraft, okay? It's
not for me. It's what I was going to say.
But I will say, the Builder series does a lot of quality of life improvements over Minecraft. It's unfair to say it's Minecraft but Dragon Quest, because I think it's a much improved
Minecraft.
Minecraft, with Dragon Quest elements thrown in, and a plot that guides you. At any point, you can veer off the plot and just build for a while, but there is a solid plot to keep you on track, which I feel like Minecraft is really missing.
It definitely is. I like good guided fun, so I love the fact that I have a story to motivate me through the building of each thing. And sometimes I do wander off track, and sometimes I do just wander around and make a random cave for no reason, or whatever. But the fact that I can always return to some guided fun is good for me.
To give you an idea of the quality of life improvements I'm talking about, you can build an item called a colossal chest. You learn how to build it fairly early, and what it does is it basically gives you almost an infinite inventory.
Right.
So once you build this thing, you are magically linked to it. So you've built a colossal chest in your city. You're now out in the world gathering stuff, and oh no, I'm out of inventory space. Doesn't matter. You keep gathering materials, and they just get teleported to the chest, which you can access in the field and swap stuff out in. So it takes away the inventory limitation of Minecraft.
Mm-hmm.
Also, when you're building things, it's very intuitive in that if I just want to build a line of blocks, your character has the ability to look up or down and place blocks up or down or in front of you. You can look down, hold down the place a block button, and just walk to the left, and he will create just a solid line of blocks. Mm-hmm. You can look in front of you, and it'll build a solid 2-block wall, and you can just strafe to the left and build a wall super fast.
Yeah, very, very good quality of life improvement.
It's a lot of fun to see all of these monsters in a 3D environment, which we finally got with 11 too. Like we also got.
Well, we got 8.
8, you couldn't really circle the enemies in combat. You couldn't move around and see them from all angles.
That's true.
In this, they just exist in the world. Builders 1 has hidden objectives for each chapter.
Builders 2 has the ability to collect human excrement.
I knew you were going there. I knew you were going straight there.
A mechanic that every game should have.
You can use the poop from the houses, from the bathrooms that you build, as fertilizer, and it's an important ingredient. So I've spent a lot of time trying to make sure my villagers poop effectively.
It has the best mechanic in any game.
For poop gathering?
Yes.
Builders 1, the plot is, in the first Dragon Quest game, when you meet the end boss, he offers to let you join him and to give you half the world. If you say yes, it's game over.
Right.
Dragon Quest Builders 1 takes place in a world where the hero said yes.
Yes.
The world has since been destroyed. It's up to you to build it, put it back together. One of the bosses is the hero who said yes before you fight the Dragon Lord. It's real good.
Yeah,
and you get to rebuild the cities from the first game. One tangent I meant to go off on in the original video.
Yes.
Just real quick, because I still haven't played 3, obviously. But it's interesting to me, in Dragon Quest 1, there is a village that is falling apart. It is completely deserted, filled with monsters, and being basically taken back by nature. In Dragon Quest 2, that village no longer even exists. It's a little patch of dirt where that village used to be. It is my understanding in Dragon Quest 3, it's a legit city you can visit.
It is a legit village, yes.
That fascinates me, that there's that kind of continuity. Anyway, I forgot to mention that in the first video. I'm excited when I play Dragon Quest 3 to go see this village that I've only seen destroyed and blown away.
Yeah.
Builders 2 follows the successful completion of Dragon Quest 2. The plot's a little strange in how they relate, but they're tied together. 2 is better than 1. 1 is great. 2 then improves on it.
More quality of life improvements over 1.
So I said Heroes 2 was a little disappointing because it didn't capture the same magic. Builders 2 captures the same magic and improves on it. I really want a Builders 3.
Yeah. Hopefully we'll get up to Builders 11 and we'll be reconstructing the world from Dragon Quest 11.
Since we're in this video, I don't even remember if we spoiled this in the original. Cover your ears for the next 30 seconds or so, but the end of 11 reveals that 11 is a prequel to 3, which is a prequel to 1.
Right.
So I found that's... You can uncover your ears now. I don't know if you can hear me saying that, but the spoiler part is done. All right, so those are the 2 spin-offs that I really wanted to talk about. There are also Dragon Quest Monsters.
Dragon Quest Monsters is the Pokemon of Dragon Quest. The only one that I've ever played is Dragon Quest. I played a little bit of Dragon Quest Monsters 2 on the Game Boy Advance. And it was good. I just wasn't really into the whole monster collecting thing.
Now you are.
Back then. Now I'm playing my first Pokemon ever, Pokemon Shield, right now.
Because it has a lamb in it.
Because it has a lamb in it. All they had to do, my tangent, is that all Pokemon had to do to get me to play one of their games is to make one of the Pokemon just a sheep. It's just a sheep. It's not a fire sheep. It's not a grass sheep with leaves growing out of it. It's just a sheep. And that's all they had to do. Okay, tangent over.
There's also Mystery Dungeon.
Mystery Dungeon I've never played. There's a remake of the original Mystery Dungeon I know just came out for the Switch. It's a roguelike, and I have never really been into roguelikes, so I don't think that that's anything that I'm ever going to really play. I did play a little bit of Rocket Slime. Rocket Slime was...
from the Slime series.
From the Slime series, and we only got one... Apparently there's 3, we only got one of them.
And Rocket Slime is apparently the second one.
Yeah. I did play a little bit of that. It also wasn't really my thing. There was, I think, kind of a tower defense mechanic to it. It was very cute, though. I mean, the slime is obviously a very cute mascot. I did play Dragon Quest Swords.
I didn't even know this was a thing.
Yeah, Dragon Quest Swords was a very early Wii game where you just swung the Wii remote around like a sword, and you just... It was like an on-rails shooter, but it was an on-rails slasher, because you just used your sword and you slashed monsters. It was actually quite fun. There's a Theater Rhythm, so anyone who's ever played Theater Rhythm Final Fantasy, which I love, there is a Theater Rhythm Dragon Quest, but that never came out in the United States, much to my disappointment.
What about Dragon Quest Wars?
I have no idea what that is.
It looks like a strategic RPG.
Yeah, I know there's also...
Which doesn't have a dating sim, so Russ isn't interested.
Yeah, I'm not into that. There's a mobile game. There's Dragon Quest of the Stars.
That came out fairly recently.
New mobile game that came out. I don't really play mobile games like that. I am actually playing Dragon Quest 3 on my phone. So those are the kind of mobile games that I play. I know they've done Itadaki Street, like Fortune Street games out of Dragon Quest and Final Fantasy characters. I've never played one of those either. Yeah, I mean, other than the Dragon Quest Monsters that I played about half of one of the games, well, and Dragon Quest Swords, those are really the only spin-offs that I've played that are other than like Builders and Heroes that we talked about extensively.
Heroes 1 is great, and Builders 1 and 2 are both great. So
those are the spin-offs that are really worth.
And you know what? If you really love Heroes 2 is fine. It just didn't offer anything new.
Yeah, I didn't play the second one. I was much more into the Builders than the Heroes.
Princess Elena, the spunky Russian princess, has one great line in Heroes 2.
Okay.
Because there's a plot twist where it turns out the king, there's a king who's actually twins, and he's a bad guy. They're both bad guys.
Okay.
And she says, "You think because you are duplicated, you are doubly right, but you are quadruply wrong." I was just like, okay, that's adorable.
Elena's great.
She is.
Yeah.
So I guess that's the Dragon Quest series.
Yeah, it's a good. It's
so
a
far.
Great series so far. Yeah.
12 will probably be the best one ever.
I heard a rumor that they're working on 12.
Nobody's surprised. 11 was a huge success.
I hope, maybe this makes me boring, but I hope it is just kind of another iteration up from 11 and they don't go off the rails suddenly and try to do something
reinvent
different.
the wheel, yeah. So that's all we got. We realized we did this for Final Fantasy, and honestly, Dragon Quest deserves it more.
Yeah, I mean, I do.
I officially
Quest,
jumped the shark from.
Yeah.
I jumped from Team
did.
Final Fantasy to Team Dragon Quest.
And I'm still on Final Fantasy, but I think Dragon Quest has been the most consistently great. Final Fantasy games are each new one is very hit or miss now, and there are more misses than hits. But
Yes.
Dragon Quest continues to be consistently great as they just build on the mechanics that already work. So overall, I agree that it's a stronger series.
That's the
because-
big takeaway.
Yeah, it's strong. It's stronger overall. There's no real weak link on that chain. Probably the weakest link would be 6, which I still think is not a bad game. It just, after 4 and 5, it was hard to wow me with 6.
Yeah, 6 was a bit of a letdown.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, that's all we got. We'll see you guys around.
Yeah. Thanks for listening.